Welcome, Bindu. Welcome, Parvinder. Welcome to another Astral interview. You were with us how many years back? 20 years back?
Was it 20 years?
2010, 2011. We're in 2021. 10 years back.
10 years back.
10 years back. Wow. What a long time.
Amazing.
We went through many things back then. We've been through many things since then. Like how amazing is that our life crossed each other so many times in those 10 years.
Yeah, astral connections.
David Sarita. Well, tell us, what are you up to these days? What's new and what's thinking? And maybe tell everyone a little bit about yourself first, because those who haven't watched your first interview might want to hear a little bit about you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm a wellness practitioner now officially. And I work under the umbrella of Ayurveda, my first love. And I'm also a meditation teacher now, certified by the Chopra Institute.
As in Deepak Chopra?
As in Deepak Chopra.
Wow, good for you.
Thank
Did
you.
you get to meet him?
I did get to meet him. Yeah. It was pretty amazing, actually. He's a really beautiful, compassionate, kind soul. It was actually really humbling.
Amazing.
It was really humbling to meet him. I was surprised because usually people have a different presence. They have different like online or TV presence than they do in person. But I felt like he was quite nice, quite kind. Felt a lot of kindness from him. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, you can feel it when you listen to him, right? That sweetness, that kindness.
Yeah, it's like a deep, deep compassion.
Compassion. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry for interrupting you. Carry on. Tell us about what else you've been up to. I got excited.
Oh no, yeah. So I have my own practice now. So I work out of my house. I have my own clinic here. I do a lot of treatments, like Ayurvedic treatments for people. I do consulting. I'm teaching meditation. So I would say mostly what I'm doing right now is Ayurvedic treatments and consultations, as well as meditation. I'm also teaching classes to teach people how to do the treatments, as well as I'm doing some courses for meditation as well.
Wow. Exciting stuff. So tell us how you went from being an Ayurvedic practitioner in your practice to now teaching meditation. What created that transformation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, I've been meditating for, I would say, almost like regularly. I've been meditating for almost 20 years now. Wow. And so it's been a part of my personal practice for a really long time. I actually learned from Daya originally how to meditate. He taught me, and it's something I always wanted to learn how to do. So he was able to help me with that originally, and that was 20 years ago.
Wow. And Daya, for those of you who don't know, was the connection that brought Parvinder and I together in some way, because Daya helped me from healing from my seizures way back then, years ago.
Yeah, and he's the one who introduced me to Astral Connections in the first place. And we used to work out of there before even you were there.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from him. I learned reflexology and just the art of healing, and I learned a lot about spirituality from him. And so he actually taught me how to sit. He taught me how to do the right stretches so that I could sit for a prolonged period of time. And during those days, I used to do 2 hours and 40 minutes every day. Because he had given me my first mantra, and he told me it's good to do this for 40 days. So I did like a 40-day.
So why do you think 40 days? Did he tell you?
40 days is like it's supposed to be like a sacred number for these type of programs. 40, 108, 96, like I'm sure they all have their periods, but I know like in India, everything kind of revolves around 40 days. Like after a woman gives birth for 40 days, she's supposed to stay home and, you know, be cared for and not really leave the house. It takes 40 days to build the baby's immunity. So the baby can't leave the house for 40 days, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So there's like a lot of like, there's a lot of 40-day prayers, a lot of 40-day like rituals done. But regarding why 40, I'm not really sure. They call it, they always say Sava Mahina, which is like a month and a
month
quarter.
and a half, right? Sava is month and a half, right?
Month and a quarter, Sava.
Month and a quarter. Oh, sorry. Okay, month and a quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I did that with him originally. So yeah, I've been meditating since, like daily, since he taught me originally when I was at Astral Connections 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and so last year, so about 2 years ago, I started kind of getting that feeling that maybe it's time to start teaching people how to meditate, because one thing in my practice, what I noticed was a lot of the illnesses or distress, like physical distress for people, is a result of some type of like mental unrest.
Right.
And so during my practice, like I would take a few minutes and teach my clients, like, oh, you know, you should do this breathing technique, or you should try doing a bit of a mantra meditation daily. And they would feel good when they were with me because we would do it together, but then they would go home and not meditate. And so they would end up back at, you know, ground zero. So then I was like, you know what? I can't keep doing this to them. Like, I need to give them a proper structure where they're set up for success, because me taking 5-10 minutes at the end of it, an appointment, is not gonna
It's not gonna.
motivate or inspire them to want to do it daily.
Right.
So then I kind of was just thinking about it. And then a couple of years ago, I was at a Chopra retreat in Hawaii, called Seduction of Spirit. And there they were signing up meditation teachers. And so then I signed up because I was like, you know what, this is a beautiful platform. It's so thorough, so spiritual. It's also very scientific. You know, they give you so many studies. They give you so many like groundbreaking techniques, also ancient techniques and philosophy to for the teachers. It's actually a very thorough 9-month course where we spent about 6 hours a week just attending classes and doing work.
Wow.
Plus you had to do readings, and plus you had to meditate on your own. So it was a really, really like intense like course, but perfect. Like that's exactly what I wanted.
And do you think it helped you in your meditation as a result of taking the course?
I think it helped me. Yeah, because I like learning a lot of the philosophy and the stories, and also like I learned some new breathing techniques, and just the importance. And they teach a lot about Ayurveda as well in that course. So, and so you learn a lot about the mind, the nature of, you know, the brain and the mind, and more than that, like I learned how to teach meditation.
Right.
So it's one thing meditating, it's another thing teaching somebody how to meditate. It's a completely different scenario. And they're saying, and in the course they said, if you really want to become a master at something, learn how to teach it.
Absolutely. That's with anything, right? If you can teach something, then you've mastered it.
Yeah, you have to, because there's going to be questions and you're going to have to answer those questions. So I would say, yeah, it was a really good course. And so from there, I became a primordial sound meditation teacher. However, like, and I think it's a beautiful technique, but my focus right now is more on teaching people self-empowerment through meditation. And that's why I started teaching chakra meditation. So the chakra alignment course is all about that.
So how chakra meditation different from, so there's so many different forms of meditation out there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about the different forms of meditation and why one would be superior to another or better than another? Not necessarily better than another, but different from another.
Yeah.
Because of course they're all different and they all serve the same purpose, but different people are attracted to different things.
Exactly. And you're right. There is no better or worse technique of meditation. It's all about where you are in your personal journey and what speaks or resonates with you the most. Like,
Right.
for example, like the meditation I learned from Daya was, it was basically primordial sound meditation, because he gave me a mantra and I was supposed to meditate on that. So it's a continuous repetition of the mantra. And we didn't call it primordial sound meditation, but that's pretty much what the technique was.
Right.
And the idea of that is basically because the mind is like a monkey, it's always jumping around from here to there. And that's the nature of the mind. However, that doesn't bring us happiness. What brings us happiness is when the mind is actually still. And so what the mantra does is it helps the mind focus on one point. So that way, even if the mind strays, which it does, you can always gently bring it back to the mantra. So that is called primordial sound meditation. Some people may use their breath as a focal point. Some people might use like visualizing a light as a focal point, or some people might use a candle as a focal point. So whatever it is, like you need something to bring the mind to when it's, jumping around. And meditation is very different from mindfulness. So there's another technique called mindfulness, where you're just you are aware of your breath and you're just listening to the sounds and you're watching your thoughts. And that's called vipassana. So that's a very Buddhist technique. And that's good too, but you're still not meditating, because your mind is active. And it maybe at some point you might slip into what we call the gap, which is the space between thoughts unknowingly. And then you might just naturally start meditating. But the part where the mind is active and it's observing, it's still active, because essentially, so essentially the nature of meditation is like no mind. So you don't want to be in your mind.
Right.
You want to be mindless. So, and that is the whole, journey of meditation. It's a journey into silence.
Right. Wow.
So
So then that's really interesting, because that really gives a distinction to that specific type of mantra meditation, as you called it, right? It sets it apart then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's
does the mantra matter? Most people will ask you, does the mantra matter then now?
So mantra is basically, mantra means primordial sound. And what primordial sound is, natural vibrations that are found in nature. So like Om is a mantra. Lam is a mantra. And, Lam is the mantra associated with the first chakra. And Om is the mantra associated with the crown chakra. So to answer your question, I would say yes and no. So you could vibrate to the sound of pencil. It will still bring your mind to a place of stillness.
Right.
But does the word pencil is it a primordial sound? No, because the mind will still make a story out of it. So
because pencil has a meaning. So when you're mantraing to pencil, you have a meaning associated with this word now, which you are going to associate with.
100%. So that's exactly what we don't want for meditation. So that's why we choose primordial sounds, to basically take the story out of the vibration, so that you can't so the mind doesn't attach a story to it. because yeah, anytime we use any word that we know, we make a story around it. And so I would say, and primordial sound teach that, like, their technique, like from the Chopra Institute, tells you that the mantra has no meaning. But I don't think that's necessarily true. I think every mantra has a meaning. But by meaning, they're saying there's no story around it.
Right.
But there's definitely a vibration. Like, we
Right.
know that, like, it's
Yeah.
frequency, right?
Right.
So
I was just
whatever,
gonna go there.
yeah. So whatever the frequency is of that, vibration is what's
Yeah.
gonna, it's a seed we're planting, and that's naturally gonna wake up inside of you. And
Right.
you will start emanating the vibration of that mantra.
So lately I've been meditating necessarily with frequencies. I haven't necessarily, so what I did was I heard the sound once, I heard the frequency once, and now I hear it in my head. And I don't necessarily listen to it anymore, but it's still, I know the sound and I can express it in my being, right? That's the only way I know how to say it. It's expressed in my being. And experiencing that and working with that is very similar to working with a mantra for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what your experience has been in that regard. Maybe you can share a little bit.
I would say I definitely love the sound of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it.
Yeah.
And because I guess when you play it on the coil, because the coil vibrates that sound. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful sound. And it is a frequency, and it is a frequency of Om.
Right.
And so I could definitely, like, just meditate to that sound. Like,
Right.
I'm at the point now in my meditation where I don't even really need a mantra. Like,
Right.
I can just meditate.
Yeah.
And you know what? The David Srita technology has definitely, I think, fast forwarded my pace to be able to reach that point.
Right.
But I still use a mantra to a certain point to just settle my mind. And at some point, I just let it go, because, you enter into that space, and it's just so beautiful.
So
So,
when you talk about the David Srita technology now, this interview isn't necessarily for the David Srita people, it's for everybody out there,
mhm.
um, for the Metaphysical Hub. So can you tell everyone a little bit about what you just spoke about, David Srita technology? You mentioned the coil as well. Just a little synopsis of what it is and what it's done for you. And I'll contribute a little bit, but since we brought it up, we may as well address it.
Yeah, I would say that the David Srita technology is a huge part of my practice. My Ayurvedic practice with clients, as well as my meditation practice for myself.
Right,
Even in my classes, I always have the coil playing some type of frequency,
right,
depending on what kind of day it is, depending on what kind of group it is, and also which chakra we're working with. So I'll play the different frequencies in relation to the chakras as well.
right,
And so I would say, in a nutshell, the coil, the wand, the mats, the staff has played a huge impact, like, on my own personal development as
right,
as a meditator. Also on my physical health. I have a lot less pain. I have more energy. I don't need to take as many supplements anymore. I barely take any these days. Just because, like, my body is in such a good frequency. And there was a few weeks there where my amp wasn't working. And so I didn't have the technology on. The first few days I was like, oh, I'm fine, like, I think my body's in a really good place. I'm okay if I don't have the technology. But after a couple of weeks, I felt it. My
wow,
body, yeah, like, my body really missed it. And so
wow,
yeah, so I just I just got on the internet and just ordered a couple of
another,
amps. Yeah, because I realized, even though, like, I've been using the frequencies for over 2 years now, um, if I go a prolonged period of time without them, like, my body, I can feel the difference. Like, I feel less alive.
I hear you. Yeah, I feel it too when I don't use it. Absolutely. So the more you use it, the more it seems to calibrate you to a higher vibe. But if you leave it for a while, it does also dissipate too.
Yeah, because there's so many other frequencies going on all the
Yeah.
time, and they
Yeah.
affect our bodies. And
Yeah.
so if I have the coil going on, I usually have the coil going on 24/7. Like at nighttime, I turn it down.
Yeah.
But so it's protecting us from all the, all the rest of the, radiation from the cell phone towers and
All the different.
our TVs and computers. And so because we are made to pick up frequency, those frequencies bring our frequency down. And so, yeah, so it's definitely helped me a lot, like in my practice, like in my Ayurvedic practice, as well as my meditation practice, and just in general, for like daily well-being.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that every day from many clients, as you know, I work for David Sarita right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about you now, where you are. You're doing these courses. Tell us a little bit about your courses.
Okay, so I have 3 courses going right now. So the first one is primordial sound meditation. I do that one more one-on-one. It's a 4-day course, like not a 4-day, but it's like a 4-session course. Total of maybe 7 hours of time with me, 6 to 7 hours. And then, it basically sets up the meditator with their own mantra according to their Vedic astrology, the time they were born, time and place that they were born, as well as it sets them up with a proper meditation practice. So a practice for success where they begin to meditate daily. And so I educate them about the best times, where to meditate, how to sit, how to dress, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It also teaches you like about philosophy and the Vedic philosophies around meditation as well, and why we meditate. There's a scientific aspect to it as well, like the effect that meditation has on stress, and like what happens in the body when we meditate. So it's pretty cool. It's a good balance between spirituality and science. The other course
will you also be incorporating a little bit about frequency in your course?
If it's requested, I can. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful.
So the second course I teach, and that's the one that I'm going to launch in June. Sorry about that. It's my computer. Is the chakra alignment course, and it's a 9-week course with 1 class per week. So it's 9 sessions, and in that I basically teach people through Vedic philosophy as well as practical techniques how to align, activate, and nourish their energy centers, which we call the chakras.
Right.
So yeah,
I wanted to ask you, like, oftentimes, like, okay, so I'm going back to David Sarita, but the frequency of the planets and the chakras. And I've read a lot of Ayurvedic material on planets and how planets are associated with the various chakras. And so, but they sometimes contradict each other as to which planet is associated with which chakra. Can you speak a little bit about which planet is associated with which chakra?
Yeah, so basically the way I discovered which planets affect which chakra is I did an experiment with it. So I would test it on my clients, and when I first got the wand, because I realized the different planets affect different areas of the body, which was fascinating to me. I didn't know about that. And so one of the things I noticed is like the planet Venus. I know some people say it's the heart, but it's actually your sexual center. So it's your second chakra, it's your sacral chakra that's affected. And some planets
is it consistent with all your clients?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then Saturn is here, even though solar plexus. So even though the solar plexus is, Ayurveda says it's your inner sun, and it
Yeah.
is, it's your digestive fire. Um, However, like when we play the planet Saturn, it's this area, like right below your rib cage, that opens.
Right. Wow.
And the earth, the sound of the earth is so loving. So it's so love, and that's your heart center.
Like even
And
when I say the word Saturn right now, I feel an opening right below my sternum kind of thing.
amazing, like because you're so intuitive. So you know,
Yeah, yeah. I can totally feel
and so Mercury and Mars are associated more with the brain and the mind. And Mercury is more for like concentration and clarity, and Mars is more like cohesiveness and coherence, like throughout the brain.
right.
So and so on and so forth. So, but having said that, the planets even are not just associated with one chakra, they're associated with one or two or maybe even three. So it does overlap.
It does overlap.
And sensitive people can feel it more. And I find like the most results I've gotten is with the wand as compared to the coil, because the coil's energy is so big, whereas the wand's energy is more acute,
Concentrated. Yeah.
more concentrated into one area. So you can
Yeah.
feel it more like that. And so, yeah, so I just recorded the data according to what people were saying where they can feel it. And my clients are special because, they're the sensitive ones that come to me. So
Right.
they were able to feel it. Mhm.
Wow. Wow. That's so amazing. So, okay, so back to your course. They're going to learn how to meditate. They're going to learn how to maintain their meditative practice. And then will they also be able to communicate with you and learn and, one-on-one with you?
Yeah. So what I was going to say was like, if they want, I was going to offer them like a 15-minute session per week of the course. If they need to talk to me or ask me questions um, about the course material or about their own experience. So yeah, they can talk to me. They can email me as well. They can message me. I want to do like a group chat so everybody
Group
can
chat? Yeah.
share their stories. That will probably be on Telegram. So
Right.
so the idea, so the course that we're going to be teaching is the chakra alignment course. And so the reason I'm
Right.
teaching that course is because right now a lot of people are feeling disempowered because of the nature of everything that's happening in the world right now.
Right.
And so I think the best way to feel empowered is by aligning from within and remembering that like we are divine, like we are divine beings having a human
Absolutely.
experience. And so when we connect and we align within, then we're in our heart and we are in a frequency of love, which is our natural frequency. And then we're not
Right.
in fear anymore. Like
Absolutely.
we are immovable, we are unshakable.
Well,
And then
just
we
everyone
can't be
just if
controlled.
everyone just looks at the moment they're in and looks around them, there's nothing there to necessarily fear, right? Everything is at peace, at stillness. And if you're just there, then you're not in fear or not dealing with anything that's happening outside of you. It's only when you look to what's happening outside of you that it creates all those other um, states of being.
Because it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion that's been created to keep us in fear. And so the
Right.
best way to not buy into that fear is by connecting inside of us when we're like, hey, everything's fine. Or connecting with nature, because that's who we are. And so when we connect with nature, I mean, it's spring right now. Like it's a time for joy. It's a time for celebration.
Right.
And so it's good to just, remember that. So yeah, so with the chakra alignment course, so each week we'll be going over a different chakra, and I'm going to teach people like what to eat, um, which words to use to activate that chakra, How do you know if you're unbalanced in that area? How do you know if you're balanced? What you can do practically in your life or even during the class to balance and nourish and activate those areas.
I'm so excited. I can't wait till your course starts. I want to be part of it.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you there. You're amazing.
Yeah.
So during the course, it's about 20-minute philosophy. Sometimes we go over if people want to talk. And then there's also yoga. There's pranayama, which is breath.
Right. Which is breath.
There's mantra. So there's a one mantra associated with each chakra. So there's going to be chanting to activate that, as well as a meditation at the end.
Yeah. Wow. We're gonna let Parvinder do the chakra parts, the chakra section in our website. So when she's ready to, she's gonna enhance all those sections for us. So you'll be able to go there after your course and read up more on each of the chakras.
Yeah, I'll definitely add to that for sure. Whatever I do know.
There. Sorry, there was noise out there, so I wanted to pause for a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, so is there anything else you want to add, Parvinder, to what you've just shared? Is there anything you want to share with the audience that maybe I haven't asked you or I've forgotten to ask you? I mean, there's so much that's probably happened in the last year, even in your life, that has brought so much insight for you to be able to share with everyone. Share something with us.
So within the last 10 years, there's just been so much that has happened, I would say.
No, even in the last year, forget the 10 years.
In the last year or so, I would say so much has happened just within the last year. I think there's definitely a huge awakening that has happened on the planet. And it was predicted because on the Mayan calendar, it's actually 2012. It's not 2020 last year. And so there was a massive awakening that happened with humanity. And it happened with the oncoming of this, corona virus that, just hit the world or whatever, which caused people to go indoors. And it helped us slow down and think about what is it that we're actually doing with our lives and what are we doing to nature?
Really, you agree with me?
What's that?
And you agree with me then that this is a positive thing that's happened on some levels because
100%.
We're reflecting more than we ever have, right?
Well, it just caused us to slow down. Why do I have my kid in 10 activities a week? Why am I rushing around all the time? And why do I need to go to all these social gatherings where I don't even connect with over 90% of the people, And so I think going indoors, we also saw what a positive impact it was on the world, that or on nature, that we're not just buzzing around unconsciously just doing. We actually thought about what are we being, and it set our priorities differently, it's so I think it caused a huge awakening. A lot of people learned about this huge illusion that's been created in the world, and we started waking up to truths that we would never have woken up to had this virus never occurred in the way that it did.
Right. It's true. Absolutely. I agree with you. Well, let's meet again. Let's talk again. Let's get everyone a link to sign up for your courses, and they can sign up at the hub. They can email us. I will have all that information for them when I send the email out. And I will send you this recording so you can share it too. And let's get everyone excited about the course. I'm excited about it.
Okay, awesome. So I think the date that we should do it is June 21st, which is, we should begin the first class because it's the International Day of Yoga on June 21st.
Wow.
It's also, I guess it's like also Indigenous Day, celebrating First Nation culture. So I think that's a beautiful day to begin the course, and it will go on for 9 weeks and for about an hour, 15 minutes, and then 15 minutes for a question and answer. So, and the sessions, you know, we'll record them. If people do miss them, they can watch them or participate later. And I do have a course manual. There's a course manual as well as a presentation that will be made available to the students. Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you about this, Shirose. So I have this beautiful, these beautiful chakra alignment oils.
Wow.
And there's one for each chakra, and they're made with, they actually have crystals in them. Like this is for the throat chakra. So
wow.
There's crystals in them. It's made with doTERRA oil.
Celestite or something?
Well, this is lapis.
Yeah.
So this is for the third eye.
Right.
And then this is made with amethyst. So that's for the crown.
Crown, yeah.
And this is rose quartz, and it's got the rose oil in there. That's for the heart center. And so on and so forth. So this one is, and they smell, oh, they are like heaven.
Wow.
And so you can use these to apply them on the different areas associated with each chakra. I do it for that, but then I also just put it on my face because they just smell so amazing. So anyway, so this will be offered like with the course at a discounted price. And I might even do like a contest where the participants can, somebody might win a free set. So I'm still figuring that out.
Amazing. I'm really excited. So, okay, well, awesome. Thank you, Parvinder. It was a pleasure to have you once again, and an honor to be speaking to you again.
Thank you. It was so nice to speak to you as well.
Yay. Okay, hold on. Let me end this.
Okay.